Hey everyone, this is Caly with craftincaly.wordpress.com. Today I'm sharing with you my 2016 photo holiday card as a part of a blog hop for Live Love Cards. Be sure to head over to my blog or to livelovecards.com and check it out if you are a community member. And if you're not, you can also take a look at the details and see how you can become a member if you're interested. Now to begin, we are going to be cutting a bunch of pine branches from the C&9 Take a Bough die set. The set comes with 3 different sizes of boughs, but I'm going to just show you here the 2 larger sizes because I've already done a lot of pre-cutting in advance. You'll notice that I'm using a metal shim to help me cut these intricate dies. I had to cut out about enough for about 54 cards, and it got to a point where the cardstock was not releasing from the dies very well, and you'll see me struggling here with them. So I just have a helpful hint. I decided to try something towards the end of this process and use a folded up dryer sheet. And by running the dryer sheet through the Big Shot in place of cardstock, it gave the dies a layer of wax or anti-cling that really helps release the cardstock from the dies more easily. I had heard this in the past before from videos that I've seen or maybe read somewhere, and I didn't remember to try it until I was almost done cutting all of these, and it made a huge difference. I know that seeing it helps, so I've included a photo here so you can see what I mean. I just used one dryer sheet that I folded into 3 layers and then ran it through my die cut machine in the place of cardstock. Now once all my pines are cut, I use a pair of scissors to cut them in half and began just choosing and picking various sizes and colors and putting them together to form a bunch of 4. And then I used my handheld stapler to hold them in place. And I'm not sure what the best method is for holding those together, but I thought that a stapler would be better than a bunch of messy glue. So anyway, I put them all in a container and set them aside to work on my tags. For my tags, I'm using some red and white cardstock. The sentiment is from a Mama Elephant set called Jingle Greetings that was released last year. By the way, all the products that I use were released last year, so nothing is new. Don't feel like you always have to buy new things to make cards. This is just things that I purchased last year that went unused, or I like them so much that I'm using them again. So I couldn't decide what color tag I liked better, so I'm doing half and half. I've pre-cut the cardstock for stamping, and because these Lawn Fawn stitch circle tags that I'm using are 2 inches in diameter, I cut my pieces of cardstock to 2 by 2.5. It's a snug fit, so if you're doing the same thing using the same tags, I would recommend cutting these pieces to 2.5 by 2.5. The Misty is a great tool for mass producing. If you don't have one, an acrylic stamping block will be just fine. I started out with using my red tags and stamped and embossed each individually, and then I set them aside and heat embossed them together in batches. For the red tags, I used white embossing powder, and for the white tags, I used red embossing powder. Now, if you want to skip this step altogether, you can just use straight white ink or red ink and then skip the embossing. That'll save you a lot of time. You'll also notice that for the white tags, I changed my technique just a little bit and found it to be a lot quicker. I stamped all the sentiments and then added the powder and then heat embossed them together. So I broke down the process further and made it more efficient. I don't use a lot of colored embossing powders, so I have my red embossing powder in its original container, and just wanted to show you that I'm just using a plain piece of printer paper folded in half to catch the falling powder. Nothing fancy. I don't have the container and spoon like I do with my white powder. I only do that with powders that I use really often. So for the sake of time, I went ahead and die cut all the tags off camera. And next, we'll be working on the card bases. I am using crumb cake cardstock by Stampin' Up. I decided not to pre-score and to eyeball the stamping because I don't mind that there's any stamped images on the back of the card, and this makes it a lot easier and quicker in my opinion. Again, I stamped several of these, then add the powder, then I heat set them in batches. I did them in batches about 10 or so, and found this to be a very quick process for me. I'm embossing these in white, but of course you know that there are many different powders out there that are so cool, snow effects and pearlescent and anything with shimmer. I'm just using what I have on hand, which is white. And so once I'm done doing that, I am going to be scoring these card bases. If you don't want to do this before stamping and embossing and don't like the stamping on the back of your card, this is where you can brush away any excess embossing powder up to the score line before heat setting your card bases. That will give it a cleaner look. And next I want to add some embellishment to my tags. To do so, I am going to stamp a bunch of hollies and berries on white cardstock using a stamp set by Stampin' Up called Hang Your Stocking. I don't have dies that cut these images, so I am going to quickly demonstrate for you how I use my Brother Scan and Cut 2 to cut these. It's an amazing cutting machine like the Silhouette or Cricut, and what I love about the Brother Scan and Cut 2 is that it will scan your images directly into the machine and then cut out exactly what it scans. So you don't have to play with an external computer program or any other applications. It just scans and cuts. So it's perfect for a project like this. And this is by no means a tutorial on how to use the Brother Scan and Cut. I just wanted to briefly show you what the machine looks like and how it operates. Once the images are stamped, I place the cardstock on a scanning mat, which is tacky and holds the cardstock in place, and I let the machine scan the images. And then I'll play with the settings and adjust the spacing around each image and let the machine cut out the images. They pop right off the mat as long as your blade is set to cut through the thickness of the paper correctly. And so once these are all removed from that mat, you just put a protective cover over your cutting mat and put that away. And then you turn off your machine and that's it. So I've gone ahead and adhered these hollies and berries to my tags, and now I will add some red and white twine to the tags to finish them off. The twine is cut to about 6 inches, and I've looped them through the holes. I'm not too particular about perfecting these bows since they're going through the mail, but for some added interest, I decided to use some red stickles to the berries to give them a little bit of sparkle and shine. So as I do that, I lay them and stack them, set them aside for them to dry. Took about 30 minutes to an hour, which is perfect because it gave me enough time to work on the next step in making these cards. I've ordered some custom name stamps this year since there's 6 of us now, and so writing all those names in 50 plus cards is no fun. So I find that stamping or making a stamp is a great idea. I got this idea from Jennifer McGuire, no surprise there. However, I've ordered my stamps from a shop on Etsy, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get. It is made in Malaysia, so if you want to order these before the holidays, order them quickly because I know that the holidays will prevent them from getting here on time, and he does even state that on his shop. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I love these custom stamps. I've been using them for a few years now, and I've ordered all of my personalization through him. And his name is Chris, and he owns a little shop called My Custom Stamps. And I'll provide a link to his shops on Etsy and Facebook, as well as eBay, in my descriptions below for you. So I wanted to give you some examples, and I just wanted to show you there what my personalization looks like. So now for the assembly, I just use some glue dots to adhere the pine bunches, and I'm just eyeballing it towards the center and leaving about 1/4 of an inch on the sides, just making sure that as long as they don't stick out of the card, then it should go into an A2 envelope just fine. I know that for making the prototypes for these cards that the tags will cover up the staples, so it's perfect. Then I use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to adhere the tags to the center of the card. It gives the pines and staples some extra room so it doesn't warp your tag when you go to lay it on top of those pieces. And last but not least, the final step is to add my photo. In the past, I've just left the photos loosely in the cards, and last year I even sewed my photo to the card base of my card. So this year I've decided to add my photos using some photo corners. I simply create my own collages and get these photos printed through walmart.com online, and they ship to your house conveniently. And I've also noticed that this year there's a new size option. They will cut your paper or your photos, sorry, to 4 inches by 5.3 inches. So it's perfect for an A2 card, and it fits on this card just perfect with a small mat around, and there's plenty of space for photo corners. So it ended up working out just perfectly, and I'm so happy with the outcome. This also allows the photos to sit in the card securely, but can be removed by loved ones and friends if they decide they want to keep the photo and not the card. So crafters out there alike, you know how I feel about this. Most of your work ends up in the trash and it's a little bit painful to think about, but making it makes us happy, and we know that other people love it when they receive it, so it's all well and worth it. Anyway, that completes my 2016 photo holiday card. Thanks so much for watching. Just keep in mind that this is part of a blog hop, so come back to my blog and hop around and see what others have created. I hope you all have a safe and merry holiday season, and until next time, have a wonderful day, and thanks for stopping